Okay, so how do I conduct a table read? All right, let's get this show on the road. I start off with first getting the cast together and deciding, okay, so a lot of times my talent comes from out of state. So I will hold virtual table reads. I know they're going to be comfortable in their own house or wherever they're located. And it's also super convenient. The software that I use for that is Zoom. But if you're looking for a free source, you may want to look at Google Meets. I'm not too much of a fan when it comes to Google Meets. It's cool, but I've had a number of issues when I've had to have meetings with other people who use Google Meet. So it's not my source that I use. I use Zoom, and I just pay for the monthly subscription so that I can have more than, free 30 minutes, free 45 minutes, so that we're able to take our time. Next, I choose who are going to be a part of that table read, right? So what I do is I do a table read with everybody first. First two table reads are with majority of the cast members. We kind of just read through the script. This is where I really just want to hear them read the script. I know it's fresh to them. I know they're not at the point of being able to make it their own yet, but we will get there. The next few table reads, what I do is I have my main characters, and I normally try to conduct maybe 2, no more than 3 table reads a week. Sometimes it may be once a week. Just really depends on how much we need to cover and where we left off the previous table read, right? So when I have my main characters in this table read, this allows them to become familiar with one another, and they begin to build the chemistry and the relationship with one another. So instead of them meeting for the first time on set, I try to make sure that they've seen each other, talked to each other, we've laughed, we joke. They begin to feel comfortable with one another and build a relationship. Chemistry is built before we even say camera speeding, sound speeding. Feeling fairly confident, if not very confident, in their scene partners. So that's very important to me. And then, I like to set the tone of the table read. I always start with asking, what do you guys need from me? Which scenes do we need to pay the most attention to today? Therefore, we can focus on those if you already feel confident in some of the other scenes. And then we go over those particular scenes first.
One quick question. Is the camera set, is the camera in my hand, or is it like set propped up somewhere?
Now let's say it is maybe the 3rd table read that I've had with my main characters. Now I am going to take it by scene that I feel need the most improvement, or maybe the most attention, for the lack of better words. We have a cast member who is not able to be at that table read. Generally speaking, usually I will read that particular character lines for them.
I didn't believe in it before, but could it be true?
No, baby, we're not having a divorce. Disregard the dream. Then a lot of times I've actually even switched characters for, certain people, just because it's like, oh, wait a minute, he read better. But it kind of allows you to play around and mess around, so that you'll know if you're able to get the very best and how you're able to get the very best from those who are part of your team. We begin to read aloud. I start the table read by having actors read their lines aloud. I encourage them to embody their characters, and we use tones and emotions that are appropriate, and we may try it in several different ways. I make sure, and this is a tip, because I know a lot of directors and a lot of writers want you to actually recite exactly what's on paper. But when it comes to my productions, and since I am the writer of my scripts, I'm not as married to my script. Speaking of, all I really care about is A,
the talent has what they need from me, but also that it feels natural. As long as the emotion and everything that is supposed to go on in that scene is being conveyed, then I'm not too worried about how you say it.
I may not necessarily like what was written.
Wait, what?
Based on the way that it sounds. So then I would say, hey, do me a favor. We know what's going on right here. Say that line in your own words. Because it may not necessarily sound as good as I thought it was going to sound coming from this person or that person. So I say it in your own words. Then I let the actor say it in their own words. And what we do is, whichever one sound most genuine, we rock with that.
Yeah.
My other rule is, okay, if we're going to improvise, I need you to kind of remember what it is that you're saying so that we can say it at the same time, because we'll do multiple takes. But also,
say no to drugs.
Not to distract or to throw off your scene partner, right? So by doing this in the table read, it allows the scene partner to also already be familiar with what to expect.
Taking notes. Take notes as the table read is progressing. Take notes of any issues, questions, or feedback that may arise. This allows me to make sure that everything is clarified. There's no confusion. I'm making sure that the pacing issues, if there are any, are addressed.
For character development suggestions, I like to direct during the table reads to give the talent an edge before we start production.
You're not sweet.
And I noticed this allows the talent to feel most comfortable and confident.
Because what I've learned and what I've actually gathered from
actors and actresses that says, man, I really appreciate us doing these table reads, and I appreciate you directing these table reads because it allows me to go in my bag.
This is how I am able to kind of get the best out of my actors when it's time to say, all right, camera speeding, sound speed. They've already gotten used to how I give direction. They've already gotten used to who their character is. They've already gotten used to what it is that is needed of that character. So now when they come on set, they're super confident. They're not having to be in their head because we've already addressed a lot of the concerns up front.
I like to follow up. I send an email out, sometimes just addressing certain things that happen in the table read, so that they'll have those notes to be able to remember.
When we've had a great table read, I send that recording over to them and say, hey, today table read was super awesome. It was super dope. This is the video to that read so that you're able to watch it and remember some of the notes and some of the cues that were given, so that you can also see that if there was any improvisation, you can also see those things. When my storage is full from those recordings that I do from off Zoom, I just use the screen recorder on my MacBook, and I'm able to record the actual table read. I upload it to the Google Drive, and I share the link with the casting and let them know, hey, you may want to take a look at this because you delivered.
Table reads allows me more than anything to know how on track we are with being off book before production. Because the last thing I want you to do is to show up on my set and not know your lines. So it allows me to know if this person has really been in their bag. With us being a small crew, you may be one man banding it. So you want to make sure before you get to set, you know how far they are from knowing their lines, because if talent show up and they do not know their line, it's going to cost you money, because you're going to spend unnecessary amount of time going over the scene, and now you guys have spent all day on one or two scenes because talent does not know their lines. I'm a script supervisor, and I worked on other productions. And that is the worst. The worst thing is for talent to not know their lines. Like, bro, you have one job. But yeah, I like to follow up after the table read to thank them for their time and their input. Keep them updated on any changes or developments related to the project.
But again, that's all that I have to share with you today.
Because you stingy.
You know what? Drop a comment down. Let me know. Are you currently doing any table reads? Do you plan on doing any table reads? If this is your first project or maybe your next project, do you currently do any table reads? How does that work out for you? If you don't do any table reads, do you plan on starting to do any table reads?
These are just a few tips on how I conduct a table read. I know the sound and the location was much busier than I planned for it to be. Again, I thought everybody would be at church, so I thought we'd kind of have this to ourselves. But like, comment, subscribe.
And don't forget to share. Everybody should share.